cold calling versus social media. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of each so you can make a decision maybe what's best for your business. This is the After the License channel where we help real estate agents build their business. If you found value in this content, give it a thumbs up on YouTube, okay? So cold calling versus social media. Let's talk about pros and cons, and let's start with cold calling. Cold calling has a lot of pros because you are essentially reaching out to potential people who might buy or sell real estate with you right now. That's the essence of cold calling. And that's why it's worked for as long as it's worked. When you go and you call for sale by owners or expired listings or, an old list of leads somewhere that your team leader gave you, theoretically, those are potentially now leads or near future leads that someone's actually going to do business with you. And you're reaching out to them. It's like an active form of prospecting, right? I like to call it like active lead generation. And things like cold calling fall into that category, and that's a pro. When something hits in those active lead gen categories, guess what? It means immediate business for you and, success for your clients. Now, what are the cons of cold calling? The number one con is it sucks. It's not fun. I've never been prone to cold calling because I don't enjoy it. The second thing is with technology and the way we're seeing it shift, I would say cold calling is going away. I don't know about you, and I would encourage you to think and audit your own actions. But for me, I don't answer the phone if I don't know the phone number. And if I don't know the phone number, guess what? I'm going to wait for them to leave a voicemail, and I'm going to decide to call them back or not. Most phones these days have a do not disturb option, and the only function of some of those do not disturb options is to make sure the person's phone doesn't ring when it's not a contact in their phone. So just think about that. The con for cold calling is that yes, you might get now business, and yes, you might be able to drum up some deals, but it might take a lot of phone calls, and it's going to take a while. That's just the reality of it in a lot of cases. So those are the pros and cons of cold calling. Now, if we go to the opposite end of the spectrum, social media, what are the pros and cons there? Well, the pro of social media is you're meeting people where they're at. Okay, you're meeting people where they're at. It's not intrusive. It's not cumbersome. You're really building a brand, and that's a positive, right? With content and letting leads come to you. So again, this might be a pro or a con, but it's more of a passive form of lead gen. It's really marketing, right? And when you do marketing, again, people are coming to you, and that's a huge pro. Now, what's the con? What's the con of having social media be the crux of your lead gen strategy? Well, the biggest con for people is it takes a while. It takes a really long time to build a brand. And just like with, cold calls, it might be a lot of phone calls, it might be a lot of posts to whatever your social media platform is before you really start to build a brand. Now, you have to weigh those pros and cons. Now, if someone were asking me today, what would I do? I would do social media. And I love the marketing first approach, the building a brand first approach, but you ideally do want to pair that with some more aggressive style of lead gen. Now, is that cold calling? Again, you have to make that decision. It's not my cup of tea, but something you get to decide, and you get to kind of weigh those out. But those are the two things we see a lot with new agents. Some people talk about cold calling, some people talk about social media. You can do both. You can pick one. But at the end of the day, you have to figure out what's right for you and what's right for your business. So drop a comment below if you have any questions on this, and I'll catch you on the next one.